Most cameras today are far too complicated with autofocus, different kinds of modes you can set them in. There are presets, there are all kinds of adjustments. A lot of things that you actually don't need. You only need very few things to master your camera and begin concentrating on taking pictures instead of making settings in a menu. ISO, aperture, shutter speed, exposure and focus is what you need to know about to make a proper photo. And as the Leica closing here to clean the lenses says, that's wesentliche, the essentials. This is what it is about. So understanding your camera is about these few settings, and we will go through them one by one today in this video, and we will skip everything else within the menu. We will not look at specific profiles for specific looks. We will only look at what you need to know to make a good photo, or rather what you need to do with your camera, what settings you need, and then the rest is up to you, because when you know these settings and know your camera well, you can free yourself of constantly checking the camera and instead beginning at looking at things and capture them and make good photos. And that's the basics of photography we're talking about. And if we limit ourselves to master our camera and those limits, then we can use all the energy to capture the world. And isn't that why we got into photography? To make beautiful pictures. And of course it is beautiful to know a good camera, and that's why I cling to the Leica M system and avoid these big clumpy cameras, because this simplifies my way into taking good pictures. I like the simplicity of the Leica M because there's only the essential, that's wesentliche, and that's what photography is about, isn't it? I want to make photography easy, because isn't that what it's all about? Forgetting the technical aspects and just beginning to enjoy taking the pictures. Not because I dislike or try to put away the technical part, because that's part of the joy of photography, but overloading it with technical specifications and looking at high ISO performance and all of that, put that aside and begin to focus on the 5 essential things: ISO, aperture, shutter speed, exposure and focus, and then you have it. That's all you need. Modern cameras can do a lot of things that this Leica M doesn't. Like the Sony here, it has image stabilisation, first of all, a good feature if you don't have the ability to put a high enough ISO on, so you can have a quicker shutter speed and you can hold the camera stable. But I have never experienced trouble with the Leica M here not being able to be held still, because it lies so good and well in my hand, so I can easily hold it still. And with a 50mm or 35, that's fair enough. I don't use tail lenses, so that's fair enough to hold it still. Image stabilization will be great for video. I don't shoot video on this, and that's the big difference. Do you need the feature, or just an extra feature to put into the camera that is actually not needed for your photography? But you have to make your mind up about that yourself. Depends on what you're doing, and if you are a person who loves all the features and menus and stuff like that, and like to sit and use hours to fumble around with that and make different settings, then go ahead. But this video is about putting all of that aside and then begin to focus on what it's really about, and that's about taking the pictures. And I have 2 philosophies in my photo workshop school, and that is, first of all, one lens for all, and that means I use the same lens for a long time, so I can really learn it, so I don't think about how I have to frame. I actually just do it because it lies in the back of my head. I know exactly what I get when I lift the camera and point somewhere. I know how the framing will be, so I train myself for that with the 50mm. It can be the same with 35, 28, whatever lens you prefer. The idea is simply to get used to a lens by using it for a long time, and then it just sits there and you know what you get. The same thing is the philosophy about mastering the camera. Only use the essentials, then you know what you're doing and don't waste time on a lot of menus and buttons that actually doesn't help you a lot. They will just make it more confusing. So mastering your camera starts with point number 1, ISO and what it does. ISO is a technical term for, like, compared to the older days, or not older days, but compared to where most people shot film or only could shoot on film. And those who shoot film today know how it is. You select a film with an ISO 400, for example, and then you stick with that, and you have to adjust your exposure and your aperture to balance the exposure after that. On a digital camera you can change this all the time. What I do is that I select a lowest possible ISO if I want to shoot auto ISO, and that is if you want to shoot anything not manual, then ISO is the preferred setting, because ISO can then be set to a low number and a high number. And if you set it as low as 100, so you are sure you get the best possible noise-free picture, then set a maximum ISO at the Leica M9 here, 800, but other cameras can go much higher, but don't go too high. Then the camera will, when it measures the light, adjust the ISO fluidly depending on the light coming in and metering the light. This camera will measure the light just behind the lens. Other cameras, like the Sony here, will measure directly on the sensor and measure the light like that, but it's still auto. You don't have the full control, but like a Q, for example, you have a little wheel up here where you can dial up and down and compensate, but still it will be an auto system where everything changes as soon as you move the camera, or the light changes, like it does in the room here where I'm sitting, because we have a cloudy day and sunny, so the light shifts up and down a little bit, and you will watch that at the video. With auto ISO, you are kind of doomed with the camera, what it decides, but that can be acceptable and an easy way to start photographing without doing a lot of complicated settings. So with auto ISO, you can set your aperture to like 2 and your shutter speed like 250, so you're sure you don't have any shaking pictures and you don't have any pictures that are motion blurred because of camera shake or people moving inside the frame a little too fast, and then they will not be hold sharp when you take the image. So 250 is what I would recommend at least when possible, and then it depends on the aperture how much you want to have of focal depth. We come back to that. But you can also shoot a fixed ISO, set it as low as possible, and don't be afraid of higher ISO. Modern cameras, it will barely be visible unless you go very extremely high and shoot in the dark. But at daylight you will be totally safe with the ISO settings between 100, 200 depending on the camera type, and up to 3200 or more. Next thing you have to know is aperture. And aperture is about how much light the lens will let through in here. So if I put it fully open, like in this Summilux lens, it will be 1.4. It can be 2 or 2.8 on other types of lenses, and that lets a lot of light come in here. But at the same time, when you have that really big hole in the camera and let a lot of light in, then you also have a very narrow depth of field, which means the focus area can hit my glasses but not my eye, because one of them will be a little unsharp depending on how close I am, of course, to the subject. That changes, but if you put it at like 8, you will be safe for street photography and other stuff with a 50 or 35mm and have a rich depth of field. So everything will be, almost everything will be sharp within a certain area, and you can even set your focus to like 2 meters, and you will know when you point at anything within the range of 2 or 3 meters, it will probably be sharp. And that's how you use the aperture. So 2 simple settings, ISO and aperture, and then let's go to the shutter speed. The shutter speed is about how fast the camera takes the picture. In this camera we have some curtains that goes up and down, and they can go, like in this case, with a setting at 125. That's how quick it goes. If I set it to like 4000, it goes even quicker. You cannot hear it on the sound, but the curtain goes up like that, and closes again in a split second. My recommendation is always go for 250 to avoid camera shaking, so you don't have blurred pictures, and also to freeze the moment. If you need longer exposures, you can go lower down, but then it begins to be a little difficult to hold it handheld. But if you hold it like this into your body with your arms so it's steady, then you can go lower, but it demands a little training. So that's the shutter speed, and together with the ISO and the aperture, that determines the exposure. And the exposure is simply how much light is coming in when we have set ISO, aperture and shutter speed, the so-called exposure triangle, because all of these three elements influence on each other. And my recommendation is go full manual if you're dead, or set one of them at auto like the ISO. You can also put the aperture not on this camera because this is a manual lens, but on the Sony you can put your aperture priority at A, and then it selects the automatic measuring of the light, then it sets the shutter speed. After that you have to make up with yourself what of these settings make the biggest impact on your picture when you make the right exposure. I go for at least 250 in exposure to keep things frozen, and then my main setting is to keep my lens wide open for most of my things because I like that look. Having that selected, 250 in shutter speed and 1.4 in aperture demands that I have a lower ISO to not get too much light and then overlit my picture, unless I put on an end-day filter and have less light in the camera, because this camera only goes to a shutter speed at 4000, which means wide open aperture, shutter speed 4000, a lot of sunlight will not be enough to keep the light out from the sensor, and I will have a picture that in some cases will be overlit, and therefore I add an ND filter, to neutral density filter, to dim down the light, so I can go a little lower and be sure that I have a correct exposed picture. And these are very basic things, but also very important, and it is all you need to know to make a good exposure. Finally, as important as the technical stuff here is focusing. And on the Leica M system, it is all manual focus, so I have to put the camera up, and there are two squares inside here that are lines, and then I know what I point at will be in focus. Will that brick aligns, for example, the eyes of a person or a man walking by on the street, whatever it would be. I know it is focus when I have reached those two vertical lines sitting across and overlap. On a automatic camera system, you will have the ability to have autofocus, but then you also let it be the decision of the camera what it wants to focus on. So as soon as you have some contrast in the foreground, it might grab that instead of the person behind. Although this camera have a face recognition, you don't know which face it actually wants to focus on. Complicated? Not. Overcomplicated? Yes, sometimes it is, because you cannot trust the camera, so therefore I often set it to manual focus, so I can make the decision of what should be in focus and not let the camera decide. And that's why I cling to a camera like the Leica M here, because I am in control. It is very, very simple. There's not a lot to do in the menus. Full open, in the case I want a narrow depth of field, or I put it at 8 to be sure I have everything sharp and work with layers, either on the 50mm or a 35mm lens, which are my preferred versions of lenses. The Leica M system has taught me to go back to the basics of photography to make it simple. It also is a little slower, and in the modern times today where we want everything to go like that, then a Leica M camera draws back attention to photography and not so much about just making snapshots. The thing is, as soon as you have learned the Leica M camera here and know how it works and get adjusted to it, then you begin to think pictures much more than complicated settings and menus and trying out new presets, all of that. It is just about the picture and nothing else. So the only thing now there is between a good picture and the camera is you, because it is your decision what you're looking at and what you want to express, and not what you see, but how you see it. Or you can take a more complicated camera like the Sony or a Nikon or a Fuji camera, and then you can strip away all that noise in the menu, set up your own custom menu, so you only have the very essentials, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and concentrate on focusing, and that's it. Forget about all the presets in there, all the other things in the menu that is just distracting. And to be honest, I have no idea why they put so many things in there. It is just taking focus away from what it should be about focusing on photography and what we get into the film here, or rather into the sensor and down on the memory card, because that is what it's about. That is, like in German, das Wesentliche, the essential. I hope this inspired you a little, and if you want to train this, if you want to learn more, and if you want to master a camera and learn about the simplicity of one lens for all, which doesn't mean that you cannot change lenses, you can, but you will learn your lens and you will learn your camera on my courses, so I hope you will join me somewhere. I would love to see you there, and thank you for watching.